me and Perry, when I was in treatment, we became best friends from get-go. He always loved his family, his kids. And, yeah, and we're gonna miss Perry. One day we had a Perry, when he lived in an apartment with us, he never knocked. He always walked in the door without knocking himself to see what we was doing. He always had a spirit, always happy. I know he's in a better place. And one thing I can say, I'm happy that he was clean when he passed. And we'll miss him.
I'm Mike Mosley. I didn't know Perry very long, maybe a month. And Dean's right. But I will tell you that before he passed, he befriended me, and shortly before we gave him a big hug and told him I loved him. And he did, in fact, make a big impression on me. And young men, my father passed a month ago, and I'll tell you that the three of us, or all of us, are really in the same boat. And I think what I know, your dad was very spirited, very sweet, very intelligent. I know that what we should do is honor him and do the right thing in our lives, because that's what he was doing. Whatever, before I wasn't, that's what he was doing. He was doing the right thing. And so, God bless you.
I have boarding scouts, and Perry was my roommate at Serenity Park. And we lay there and talk in bed. And like people said before, man, it was so genuine. But, like, I don't know, just the way he explained stuff, you could tell that his heart was bigger than his head, you know what I'm saying? And just like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It sucks that it happened like it did. And it was, so I moved away to bed, and I remember the last message he sent me, he was wanting some more deer meat that I had or whatever, and he was playing that damn game that he got. And as soon as he got it, nobody ever saw him anymore. He'd be in there playing it all the time. But yeah, he was just a real genuine person, man. He had a big heart, and like he'd do anything he could for you. And I'm glad I got to know him.
You don't get your money's Brian Ware. Harry was my brother-in-law. No different than any of us out here. He had to learn growing up. I don't love his boys and his family, and home. And I loved all of us. And one thing I do know was he was married in the wrong way. He always was trying to turn right. And I know he's looking down on every one of us, and we will be. We miss you, Perry. But
Matt, a lot of the guys, they said pretty much how Perry was. I became pretty close to Perry about the last month before he went. Dean said he busted in. Our door never knocked. He just buzzed in, and we can be upstairs, and we knew it was him as soon as that door opened. When Perry's here, and I'd be laying in bed, and he'd come and just sit on the front of my bed, put in my bed, and what are you doing, bud? What's going on? Let's go do something. What are you doing? I'm like, man, I'm trying to get some rest. What are you doing? But right before he left, he was with me right before he left, and for about 2 or 3 days he was blowing me up about a phone that I had, and he was blowing up this phone that I had, and he said, I'm fixing to go take a little ride, I'll be back, and I'll get that phone when I get back, and never heard from him, which is kind of weird, because I knew he'd be busting through the door, coming up to see me for that damn phone. But Perry, I mean, he talked about his kids quite a bit. You know, I got a daughter, and that was the conversation we had right before he left, was about her kids. And he's a good dude, big soul, had a big heart, full of joy, happy. He loved all of his family members. That's every time we talked, that's all we would hear was him talking about his family. And how he wanted to do the right thing, and he was doing the right thing. I think that's why that's why I'm irritated. But he was doing the right thing. He loved every single one of you guys. He loved everybody that was over at the apartment. He loved Nephew State. He loved everybody. I'm gonna miss that dude, and I wish I could have given that damn phone before he left. But so I gotta thank you guys. Sorry.
I want to say to the family that I am praying for you. I know firsthand how it is to lose a loved one. Lost my mom about last year, so it's been a year now. So I'm going to encourage you just to take your time. Sometimes it's hour by hour. Sometimes it's minute by minute. And sometimes it's even second by second. And how you grieve is going to look different, you know. And I want you to just give your time in that space to just take your time. And for me to sit up here and talk about Perry right now, I got my eyes closed. So, Perry was deep. He was a deep thinker, and sometimes he threw me off. There'd be times that we would have a group with Perry, and Perry wanted to tell you, he wanted to take me the long way around. And he wanted you to be present on the ride. So sometimes Perry would get to talking, and he said, I said, Perry, can you just give it to me in a short version? He would try to give it to me in a short version, but that just wasn't it. So he would get to the end of the statement, and he said, okay, Miss LaShonda, and he'll just come out with it. And he would look, I'm so sorry, Perry, I just didn't get it, and I don't think we got time running out. And so he would just give it to me. But he really wanted me to understand where he was coming from. I said, well, Perry, my thinking might not be there yet. But if you just keep coming back, I think one day I'll get it. And then even after class, my thing of it with people I talk to, I want them to know that I pull them aside. I said, hey, come over here, let's talk about it. And I think putting aside that time to just talk about it made Perry feel all right. And one thing I do know is he loved his kids. I didn't know he had a big, beautiful family like I see right here today. Big, beautiful family, y'all.
Thank you.
And this is what I tell people when you lose somebody. Losing somebody is like passing a baton. You know, if you know Perry lived a good life despite of what he did, you know the blueprint. All you got to do is follow it for his love. Now do something different if he would have did something different. When he went left, you go right. And you just keep living. It's going to bring you through.
Thank you.
And I love y'all.
My name's Michael. I work for Natural State, and I picked Perry up from Serenity Park. And the first thing he said to me when we got in the van is that he wanted to change his life and make his kids proud of him. And like I do with all the clients when I'm taking them to the house, started going over the rules with him. He stopped me, and he's like, Michael, I'll do anything that y'all ask me to. I'm ready to live different, and that's what Perry did. He was very helpful at the house. He was always asking what he could do at outpatient, whether it's taking out trash or blowing leaves, whatever. He was willing to do whatever we asked him to do. You know, he was one of my favorite guys at 19th, and he was trying and just to do the best he could. walking to work. He did whatever he needed to do. And, he talked often about his kids and his family. I learned a lot from Perry. I know Perry made my life better, and it was a pleasure meeting and knowing him. And I too, I'll be praying for y'all. And Perry was a bright spot in each of our day. He made everybody happier that when they're around him, and you know, it's like y'all really gonna miss him. That's all I got.
My name's Willie. I was, seems like I've been Perry's friend forever. It's crazy knowing him for so long. It's like you see, you know what I'm saying? You see everything. You see, I mean, before they have kids, when they have kids, you get to know when they're real bad and fighting and stuff. And it's like we've been through all the motions together, like before kids, having kids, raising kids, you know, doing bad stuff, and getting locked up. And it seems like we just did everything together, you know. Remember we got into a boxing, we used to box a lot when we were kids, and I think he almost broke my jaw one time. He had a left hand, and southpaws are hard to fight, man, my jaw hurt for days, but I didn't tell nobody till later on. I definitely didn't tell him, but yeah, I liked him because he was very outspoken. If he had something on his mind, he'd say it. You didn't have to worry about him beating around the bush or hiding anything from you. He was straightforward. I know he loved Shannon. He loved his boys, of course. Loved his mom. Loved his siblings. And I just can't believe he's gone.
Shannon, the mother of Perry's boys. I met Perry when I was 14 years old. We grew up together. We had so many good times with these babies right here that are grown now. And then we had babies. And we fought like cats and dogs. Rachel, love you. She had us. No matter what we were going through, no matter what, when he called, it was like we could go months without talking, and when we called, it was like we never skipped a beat because we loved each other. And he loved y'all, and we have so many memories, and y'all know that. There's bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones too, so I want to keep that alive. And he loved you guys. And I don't know. That's it. I just wanted to show him some love because we're going to miss him, and I appreciate everybody coming. And I love y'all.
That's my baby. My firstborn, you know, I'm Roxanne's mom. He basically saved my life when I got pregnant with him, you know. Cause I was in a dark area, parents were divorced, I didn't want life no more, and he came into my life, and you know, and being a young child, you know, I guess your parents didn't understand I was a young child, you know, with a child, but, you know, where do we go from there? And I guess it was hard on my parents, like it was hard on me. They saved my life and everything, and I can't say life has always been good, you know, but parenting's always been something else, you know. We've all had our ups and downs, but I mean, there's good times for the kids and there's also bad times, you know. I'm not perfect, never was, never will be, and everything, but I can tell you one thing, it's probably because I watched too many scary movies, but apparently I had a fear of the dark, you know, and I had to have a nightlight. If it wasn't a nightlight, it was fish snakes. And I remember one day, I'm not, like I said, a proud mother, but me and him were high together, and I disappeared on him, and I was out back hiding from him. Because when Perry got to talk, like I told him, I either got one or two things. I mean, he's gonna have to sit here and listen. He's gonna draw it all out because we're both alike, you know. And I didn't want to do that, so I got lost outside. And, you know, and he comes around that corner of that dark. He's like, I'm scared of the dark. He's like, what are you doing? He said, what are you doing holding on to a bowling pin for? And I jump up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like trying to hide from you. And everything. He's like, come on, get in the house. He's like, I know I'm scared, you know. And he's like, these batteries in this flashlight don't work. You know, so, Perry was something else. He was loved. I loved him, and he was a character. And like I said, his biggest fear was being alone. And when I look out here, son, you're not alone. And I'm very grateful that he's touched your hearts and everything. I have so many stories I could say or tell you about that child. But I do remember, because like I said, he didn't like to be alone. And the look that I've always had, that I'll always remember when I would, drive away, but he had this look, he'd be like this. He'd be like, he'd be looking, he'd be thinking. He'd not like very, very, very deep. And I think, well, sometimes it was probably an argument when I left him, when I'd come back, I'd be like, oh gosh, what this boy got to say to me. And he'd be like, oh mom, what are you doing? All about it. Or, next thing I know, I'd wake up and he's sitting on the edge of my bed. He's like, so, what are we gonna eat? And he always sung, in case y'all didn't know it, the time that I'd leave him, I had 2 pianos, and that boy would be sitting there playing piano, learning how to play it. And singing, and if he wasn't talking to nature, he was talking to the Lord around the fire outside, y'all are lucky, because when I'd be like, hey, you want to do something for me? He'd be like, okay, whatever. And then I'd leave, and I'd be like, oh, you got it done, But, I guess that's mother and son, and I'm gonna miss him. This is very hard for me. I just lost my husband November the 7th, to a heart attack, and then my dad died in February of this year, and then now my son. And the Lord's built me as a strong woman. There's times I didn't think that I could overcome anything, but like I said, I've never been the best parent. I've tried. And I love all of you. I love all of you. And all I can do is try to make my mistakes better. Sober. I'm sober today. Lord woke me up. The 16th of this month, I know it ain't been that long, and he said, Roxanne, okay, one more time, I'm gonna take this, the craving from you and everything, and we're all haunted by our demons. I know that I am, my mistakes, and sometimes you can't get through life, and you war amongst your mind, and you can't turn it off, so I can't blame my addiction, 100% on that, but you know what? There's times I couldn't sleep and it helped. It helped. And being an addict and everything, you just have to know where I'm coming from to understand that. And Perry had his own demons too, but yet he always wrote down on his paper, the life that he was going to live. And he said, one day I'm going to live it. I'm going to live it. I'm going to be good for my boys, and good for himself. And, his brothers and siblings. But we ain't perfect, and we never know when our time's up. And, I just gotta say my boys and everything, and my daughter, I've not been perfect. Perry's been a distance away, and therefore y'all got to see his last moments, his last days, his hours, the year. And I just hope that this brings us together, Ashley, Weston, and Thomas, and everything as a family, as a mother, I guess this is a prayer that I've asked, Lord, I hope not in this way, that as y'all's mother, that I can strengthen my bond with y'all and fix whatever it is that I've damaged, because I love you, and therefore at this moment I hope that, as I draw, to the things that I cannot see that's so far away, Lord, let it happen today, and I want to thank everybody, for like I said, I'm Perry's mom, I'm not perfect and everything, but, I wasn't expecting today to be like it is, but, I hope that our family is strengthened by this, and that he brings us closer together by his death, and I'm going to miss him, and I thank all of y'all, and I thank all of y'all for listening to me, and this is my heart, and probably a prayer as well, to fix things what is broken. I hope we put back together, and if it's a start with Perry Lee, then I hope that something comes good out of it, guys, because I love you and I miss y'all, and I'm sorry for everything I've ever done, but as of his death, is probably the only way I can get y'all close to hear what I had to say. And I thank all y'all for listening, you know, but I don't know all y'all, but I love each and every one of you, and may the Lord bless you to everything that y'all do, you know. And I thank you. You know, and my grandbabies, I know he loved y'all. He loved y'all, especially Boog, the day you were born, let me tell you. That was a day I'll never forget, everything. He was born, you know, Boogie was born on Perry's birthday, everything. And it was, I remember him saying, please tell me that little boy's head ain't gonna be gone. You know, it was just something else. But Perry had a lot of life in him, a lot of laughter, you know, and I don't know if you knew it, but Perry can be drama too. You know, he can be like a little, I don't know, little girl over there or something sometimes, you know, the way he acted. But, you know, he was full of life, you know, and I know that he would want us, you know, not to be crying and worrying no more about him, but just lift him up and go on about our life and what love that he put in you and what, you know, he gave, that he would want you to go on with it and lift him up, you know, and I hope that, you know, y'all don't get too scared about him turning night lights on or whatever, you know, because he didn't like to be left alone in the dark. You know, I thank
I
y'all.
want this to be sad because it is sad, but it's a glorious day because he gave his wings.
Amen.
But I'm the middle child. My oldest brother, so I know where that leads. You know, I get picked on.
Yeah, right.
I did.
You did.
But it made me the person I am today. Could be goofy, dramatic, like she said. Boy, could he be dramatic? He could talk your ear off. And he could argue a lot as well. Him and Jamie, man, they were something else. And then when you got him around, Justin over here, boy, they trio. But he gave me the love for basketball. I took it, ran with it. We like to play on the 7-foot goals, 8-foot goals, because bully you, dunk on you. Yeah, last time we played, he didn't like that very much. We played on 10-foot, and I got my get back. He quit, and then my other brother, Jamie, also quit. They were good, but they got cocky at times and let it get to their heads. And middle child, I learned the best from them. But again, like everybody said, he was a good person. He had his ups and downs. He was on the come up. Last time I saw him, he texted me, he said he was in Cersei, that he needed a ride to Mom's house. So I picked him up, I had to run some errands, and I let him stay in my house for a little bit. Well, I had seen Perry in a little while, and kind of bigger, so I knew he was getting clean and everything, so I let him stay in my house. I run some errands about 5 hours. I just simply told him before I left, I said, hey, anything in my house, use it. I got food in the kitchen, eat it, don't matter. I said, but my only rules is do not go and take anything, don't do anything like that. And he didn't. And I knew he had changed then. And then on the way home, on the way to take him to Mom's, we talked about God, we talked about our lives, we talked about what he wanted. And he was living it, he was going there. Talked about his kids. Man, they got big. Y'all are knee high. I just want to say, I'm gonna miss him, love him. He made me who I was today by picking on me. You know, redheaded stepchild, red hair. But, I mean, it's a sad day, but it's also a good day. Like I said, gave his wings, he's watching over us, he's looking down. He'll always be in your hearts, so don't let that affect you. Just know he's there, always looking over you guys. Thank all all you can come.